So I have nothing to do with my short commute today by locating this conference here in central Massachusetts, just a few miles from my home, or to shorten Secretary Beaton's commute today. But I'm very delighted to have this conference here at Holy Cross in the heart of the Commonwealth. I want to thank City Manager Ed Augustus, who I had the opportunity to serve with when serving in the House and he in the Senate, representing this area. So I'm very pleased that he'll be able to moderate our lively, enthusiastic cabinet secretaries and Ann Reale who are here today. I do want to just spot my manager, Dan Morgado, who's a rock star in the municipal world, who's here today. And I really appreciate the guidance you gave me early on in my public service. Thank you for being here this morning. So it's just great that we have a packed room today. I'm thrilled about that. I didn't realize we had this many municipal geeks among us here in the Commonwealth, but I think you're all out there, and it's great that we could have a forum just to sort of highlight where we're at, introduce our team, talk about the investments that we're making, and then really, turn it over to you. It's your voice. You're helping us by telling us what you need that will serve our administration well so that we can better serve you. That's what today is all about. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, MARPA, for pulling this together. Just one more shout out to Joelle Barrera, also a rock star in the planning world. Thank you very much for helping us do that. You can understand this. You love when you're sitting around in a room and someone has an idea like Joelle. Wouldn't it be great to have a conference and get all the planners and others together? And that idea has come to reality today, so thank you. So it was just about a year ago that the voters across Massachusetts elected Governor Baker and I to represent all of you. And our message on the campaign, and certainly coming into office and during the course of this year, is to make Massachusetts great from one end to the other, regardless of zip code or region that you live in. And this message resonated on the campaign trail, but certainly is resonating, as I visit citizens across the Commonwealth in the many communities that I come in contact with. And we, as you know, we both started our public service as selectmen in our respective hometowns. And that experience, those late night sessions during the week and those many municipal meetings and town meetings informed us coming into office and continue to inform us as we lead the state. Now, the work that we're doing through this administration, it's first and foremost, just want to say this is not rhetoric. This is not an administration that's coming into office saying these are all the things we're going to do. We're an administration that's all about leaning in, all about challenging the status quo, trying to find the things that are working and do more of that, and then the things that need to be adjusted and improved, then let's adjust and improve them. And so as we inform ourselves, we have asked our secretaries to also inform themselves how they can take this message of making Massachusetts great from one end to the other and incorporate that into their secretariat and into the work that we can do to help the cities and towns across our Commonwealth truly be great. So the bipartisan team is going to be available to you today. 5 of our secretaries are part of the community cabinet. And as Janet recognized, this executive order was signed in January. I mean, we come into office shortly thereafter, we're already signing an executive order. Then, of course, the snow came. But we stayed on track to make sure that this cabinet would form and we could immediately get to work to help our cities and towns. Yes, the governor has asked me to be the champion of this cabinet, but he has also asked, along with me, all of our secretaries to be champions for cities and towns. So I feel I have the best job, although it's a debate among the secretariats who has the best job, but I feel I have the best job in the Commonwealth because I do get into the town halls and city halls and meet with the community leaders almost every day in my work. Yes, I have been to almost 150 communities as part of this program, and visiting you and truly getting a sense of who are the leaders, what do they care about? Is there a vibe when you walk into that town hall? Is there an energy? Is there a sense of organization and purpose and mission? You can feel that immediately when you come into a community, and I get the sense of that, and I get the sense that there's a whole lot of eagerness and energy in our communities. It just needs to be tapped and organized and focused. I also get the sense that the larger cities, the gateway cities, have a lot of resources. They have planning departments and professional staff across the board. The smaller cities and the smaller communities need more assistance in that way. That's why I think this Community Compact program is really taking off. With over 142 applications, we're signing our 55th compact today in Sherburne, and this represents over 300 best practices collectively, soon to be underway. That's the power of the program. The other part of the program that is to be pointed out is that it is voluntary. This is not a mandate, it's a voluntary program, and it's funded. So I know everyone in this room certainly does not like the word unfunded and mandate put together. So this is voluntary and it's funded, and it's really driven by your desires and your choices. What I also like about the program is that it's a tool for you to use for your leadership team. You gather your group in your war room, wherever it is in your town hall or your city hall, and you look at the menu of best practices offered, on our website or however you interact with us. It's all on the website. And you say, well, what is it that we want to get to? Here are some ideas. Or if you don't see it evident in the best practices that we suggest to you, you might come up with your own that you would like to achieve for your community. And it sort of urges your team to get together and have that conversation. So it's important to you, but it's also important to us, because as I learn about the best practices that you want to achieve, we in our administration have a better understanding of the highest priorities that exist across our Commonwealth. So it's voluntary, it's funded, it's not a cookie cutter program, and it's really tailored to help each community succeed. Let's take a couple of examples, and I know Sean Cronin's going to dive deeper into this soon. Berkshire County, okay, he's not here, but Representative Pignatelli, someone I served with, great representative, he has organized 17 communities in Berkshire County, representing 6 regional school districts. They are experiencing shrinking enrollment in their schools in that area, so they want to have a regional compact around sharing resources to reduce costs and at the same time maintain the unique identity of the school in their community. So they're forming a compact, 17 communities, to study and organize that particular issue. Another example, this is up in Acton, Boxborough, Littleton, Maynard, and Westford, and I know Secretary Pollack was part of organizing this. 5 communities along this Route 2 495 corridor signed a compact focused on expanding transportation opportunities that promote economic development. So connecting people that are using public transportation to their employment so that they can either use rail or buses and then shuttle to get to work. And they're using the compact to study that and really develop a program to help them improve in that area. So our cabinet is available to you. The cabinet and its resources and our professional team is your team. So use it. Now, it's nice to have all of the people that are here today available to you, but you also need resources to do your job. And that's why it's important that the compact is funded, but it's important that we also continue to invest in our communities, demonstrate to you that these resources are available to you, that there's certainty around the funds that you can expect from state government as you plan for your budget next year, you organize your finance committee and whatnot. You heard the governor on the campaign trail talk about Chapter 90, and you heard him promise that on the very first day he would release the $100 million. And he said he would do that before even taking his jacket off, and he did. He released the $100 million on that very first day. And during the budget year, Secretary Lepore was immediately tossed into having to refocus the fiscal 15 budget, but we knew as a leadership team that we needed to hold our communities harmless. There's nothing more devastating than cuts mid-year to a local budget, and we made sure that we held that harmless during that fiscal year. We've also, in fiscal year 16, proposed a local aid package that kept your governor's commitment to grow local aid by 75% of revenue growth. We funded unrestricted general government aid at its highest level since fiscal year 10, and also Chapter 70 education aid at the highest level in the Commonwealth's history. And we certainly didn't do that alone. We did that with our legislative partners, and I'm very happy to see Rep. O'Day here today, certainly representing the larger legislature that is our partner in making sure that we provide those funds to you. Obviously, the winter was profound for all of us. First, the western part of the state got spared in many respects. I know you're here from Berkshire County, and that was unusual for you. But for the large amount of communities across the state, it was a really significant impact. Everybody knows that, and it left behind, really bad roads and potholes and guardrails that needed adjustment. That's why we had that pothole fund, the $30 million fund, obviously funded to help you there. Now, the further investment that can be made, above and beyond the basic resources that you need to just balance your budget and do your work, are the investments for economic development that can help you grow your economy, expand that tax base beyond the residential tax base, and adding more commercial and industrial taxpayers to sort of take the burden off that residential taxpayer. That's why it's important that the MassWorks program that Secretary Ash will speak to more specifically today really works with the Compact program. So in other words, the Compact program will allow you to put a capital plan together, or a financial plan, or a vision statement about what you want in your community and where for economic development. And then when we know your community is ready and prepared for success, then when you apply for a MassWorks grant, we know that the dollars that are invested in your community will be stretched and leveraged and used with a private partner to bring in the appropriate housing where it will have an impact, to improve the infrastructure, the water and sewer and other infrastructure that needs to attract a developer to a certain area of your community. And I know there are examples right here in this room that speak to that. So the MassWorks program is another tool that you can use to help your community. In fact, this year we increased the amount of funding in the MassWorks program over $10 million. So the total amount of grants awarded this year were a little over $85 million to 46 communities, obviously bringing revitalization to downtowns, and more than 1,200 multifamily housing. Jay will speak to this, but when you bring people to an area in your community that are there full-time, sleeping, eating, what do they need? They need more services. They need more businesses to visit, and that helps you grow your economy. So we want to be strategic, make sure that these dollars are not just doled out politically, but they're doled out strategically, and get away from the political formula and really use it as a strategic formula that will work for your success. Now, finally, this conference is an example of how you can use your voice to inform us. We give you the megaphone, the municipal megaphone. You hold it, and we'll listen. And not only listen, take to heart through our secretaries what you're saying. Understand what you're saying, and then act on it. Whether we can do it or not, respond to you with some feedback so that you know the direction that we can take from your feedback, your information. So the idea is that you stay connected, that your voice is heard, and that you certainly have a seat at our table, that our programs are available to all 351 cities and towns. We know that each one of your communities has a strength, has an asset, has something that can be tapped to help you grow the vitality in your community. Whether you're an urban community where I know Jay will speak about the urban agenda that is part of our economic development plan, or you're one of the 78 coastal communities where you can receive additional funds from our Seaport Council, which I also chair, are two examples where you can leverage other programs to help your community. On the Seaport Council, any Seaport communities here? Raise your hand. I see a few. Very good. So you're one of the 78. Now, we have refocused the Seaport Council, making it an economic council. So what we want you to do is really understand what the assets are along your coastline. How can we help you develop that asset for economic development in your community? And we're awarding grants up to $1 million for those coastline projects. So with that, I want to transition, because you're here to really listen to the secretaries and the work that we're doing. As Governor Baker said when he came into office, people are policy. And the most important decisions we made coming into office were making sure that we had the right people with the right skills and experience to get the job done for you. We have a bipartisan cabinet, and they are certainly equipped with the experience and the energy to get this job done together and with you. Our secretaries, again, are charged to be your champion, to really view their work through the municipal lens, and then to work across their secretariats collaboratively, not in silos, but really work together as a team to service our communities. If we help your communities from the grassroots up, we strengthen each of these communities across our Commonwealth. That is truly how we will make Massachusetts great from one end to the other. It all starts with you. Thank you very much for coming here. Enjoy the panelists and all the programming this morning, and we look forward to hearing your feedback and information.
So I'll attempt to get us back on track by speaking very quickly. So I'm going to reiterate some of the things that the Lieutenant Governor said. First of all, it's a great crowd, and the municipal geek thing is great, because it's great to see so many of you in this room. And I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Polito, because it is really neat to work with somebody so closely who was such a champion of local government. It's you, the 351 cities and towns that really make up the Commonwealth, and both the governor and lieutenant governor, being selectmen in their past, know what it takes on a daily basis. I don't know why anybody would want to be a selectman. You don't get paid, you get all the headaches, but you do it for some reason. So prior to joining the administration, I spent the last 17 years in local government, so I would normally be out there with you. And I know firsthand as well how challenging it can be, no matter what your community is. The grind of balancing the budget, the resources or lack thereof in some instances. And your residents demand and deserve the services at the level that they want. So it's difficult. And what makes it even more difficult is the laws and the regulations that you have to operate under. And I know Secretary Lepori is spearheading an effort to look at regulations across state government, many of which impact all of you in the room. So that's a significant initiative that should make your life easier, will make your life easier. And again, to reiterate some things the Lieutenant Governor said, this administration gets it. There's a difference between listening and hearing, and that's what we're here for today, is to hear. To listen. Lieutenant Governor and senior officials, that's what they do. That's what they're here to do, is to listen to the concerns that you have, and not just to pay lip service to it, but actually follow up on it and implement it. A lot of the initiatives that the Lieutenant Governor just spoke about, I think, are indicative of the amount of time and effort that is spent on localities within the administration. In this past spring and summer, I was able to spend a lot of time with many of you getting out to parts of the state I admit I didn't know existed. But it was great to get out and talk with folks, because every region has their particular challenges and issues. So for me, coming from the eastern part of the state, it was really good to get a sense as to what those individual challenges are. And the way I explain the Community Compact Cabinet to folks, because it can be somewhat complicated, but at its heart, it's pretty simple. There's two real reasons for the cabinet. The first is to have state agencies work better with and for you, and that will be talked about when I sit down. And then the other piece is to incentivize best practices at the local level. So that's what I'm here to talk about. So how does it work? How does the program work? Basically, it's up to you to do some sort of a very informal self-evaluation. What is it that we as a community want to do better, or that we don't do that we know we should do, but we might not have the resources to get it done. So that's it. Totally voluntary. You choose to participate if you want. You choose which best practices you want. We've laid out 7 areas: IT, finance, energy, environment, transportation, housing, economic development, education, and regionalization. But if there's something you want to do in your community that doesn't fit neatly into one of those 7, you can take advantage of that. And we do have some examples of communities that have chosen some things outside of that. And one example is police accreditation. I think I saw Mayor Dumas in the room. He wants his police department accredited, so he stepped forward and said, well, we don't have a public safety best practice area. How do I do that? And we worked with him, and that's going to happen in his community. So totally up to you. Even though we laid out the best practices by subject area, you can choose something else if there's something really particular to your community. So what it really comes down to is helping you achieve the best practices that you aspire to, but again, you might be under-resourced or you got 100 other things to do. But we bring the resources to the table to help you get it done. So once you choose which best practices you want, and you can choose up to 3, you go to the website, which is mass.gov/ccc, and it's a very basic, very simple application. There's drop-down menus, you choose which one you want, and you explain why you're choosing it. And believe me, we've seen 1-sentence explanations and 3-page explanations. So it's up to you to give us the information at the level that you want. Once you hit submit, it comes to us. The ball's in our court. And then there's many folks in the room that will be at the workshops later who we sit down every other week, review all the applications that come in. So it's not just a silo world. We're actually talking across agencies in state government about, is this the right approach for that community to take? You probably got, for those of you who've applied, you get a friendly phone call from the state. We're trying to get a better sense as to what it is you're trying to accomplish. And then from there, we recommend them to the Lieutenant Governor, and her office goes ahead and sets up the signing ceremonies that number 55 is later today. So it's a really, really simple process. So why should I sign up? Well, clearly, it shows your taxpayers and your residents that you're interested in doing the right thing, that you want to do the best, and you want to excel. And it also comes with money, as the Lieutenant Governor said. It's a funded program. We have technical assistance. We have a pot of money that will go to that. We also have in-house technical assistance, whether it's Division of Local Services or each of the secretariats, and they'll speak to that as well. We also, before I forget, have handouts that you'll get on the way out. There's 3 sets of them, and one of which speaks to the best practice, the technical assistance opportunities throughout state government. So we bring that to you. So you're showing your residents that you want to do the right thing. We're bringing you the resources to do it. And you also get bonus points toward certain state grants, MassWorks being the largest one. And as grants get rolled out, each secretariat will have at least one that's tied into this program. So you're showing folks you're doing the right thing, you're getting resources, and you get bonus points for state grants, which sets you up down the road for far more significant potential dollars. Just a few statistics. So as of last night, we got 142 municipalities that have applied. Over 300 best practices chosen. 54 have been signed, 55 today. And obviously we're thrilled with the response. Not just the numbers, not just the sheer numbers, but the best practices that have been chosen. A lot of the communities have gotten pretty creative in a good way. Again, it's showing how each community is different and each community has different challenges. And it's proof that you all want to do better. I know when I worked in Brookline for the last many years of my life, we always thought we did things great, but we also knew we could always do better. No community does everything perfect. It's impossible to do that. So this is an opportunity to prioritize what it is the community is trying to do and help you get there. Again, a couple more statistics. About a quarter that have been chosen are finance related, so for me that's awesome. Scary in a certain respect, but awesome in another. About 20% are housing and economic development related, and about 15% are IT related. 45% of all applicants, so of the 142, 45 of them have chosen at least one financial best practice, which again to me is great. It shows that you really want to up your financial game, whether it be capital planning, set of policies, long-range forecasting, whatever it is. 39% of all applicants have chosen at least one housing and economic development best practice, and over 30% have chosen at least one IT. So when we created this program months ago, I think we all had a sense that these would be the areas that most would apply for, and it's actually come to fruition, so it's good to see that. And regionalization is also something I know is of great interest to many in the room. and that has shown to be somewhat popular too. 11% of all the best practices chosen have been regionalization, but more importantly, 24% of all the 142 that have applied have chosen at least one regionalization best practice. And the one that Lieutenant Governor mentioned, driven by Representative Pignatelli, is probably the most significant of all of them. And that will serve as a model for other parts of the state in different issues. So in closing, I too want to thank MARPA for pulling this together, and not really just pulling this together, but for working with you and trying to make sure that the RPAs and the CCC program work collaboratively to basically deliver the goal, which is improved services at a local level. I also want to thank Joel. I know Lieutenant Governor did, but I want to thank him as well because he was really instrumental in pulling this event together. So the role of the CCC is to help municipalities by listening, and not just listening, by actually acting, providing assistance, incentivize best practices, and have state agencies be better partners with all of you in the room. So now you're going to hear from each of the secretaries, who I also want to thank for taking time out of their busy schedule to be here today. And they're going to explain how they're carrying out. So, you know, we're all here because we love local government and we want communities to thrive. And most of the services that are provided that impact us on a daily basis are done at a local level. Police, fire, education, libraries, senior centers, whatever it is, it's all at a local level. Of course, it takes a strong partnership with the state to make all those things happen. But, you know, you folks are on the firing line on a day-to-day basis, and you know what it takes to get it done. So I look forward to continue to work with all of you. If you have any questions, I'll be here for the rest of the day. I'll be moderating the finance workshop. You can email me, cronin.se@dor.state.ma.us. The CCC website has tons of information, and also we got 3 handouts for you to take with you. There's a lot of good information in that. So thanks, and enjoy the panel and enjoy the workshops after that. Thanks.